a hand-painted wooden model, just like he expected his students to, of the chameleon cube and used it as a study aid. About that same time, I decided to start the website, which is still a evolving work in progress, and it's a repository for some parts of my work with reading this stuff. The GBG material really interested me. It really did. It really grabbed me. And in the next level of Russell's work with the tropermic calculus, and I also became aware of the projective geometry work that Russell did later on in his life, I came across one book called Blooming Umbrella that I saw from Keith 418, our friend. And this book primarily dealt with a geometrical analysis of the tree of life. Now, while my daytime job deals with geometry and math a lot, there was quite a bit of nomenclature and sort of analytical geometry terms that I wasn't really familiar with or wasn't really prepared to digest in that work without going back through all the preliminaries and building up on all the proper links first. So I began looking at some of the earlier material and went back to the tropic algorithm stuff from tropermic calculus and added that to the website, and also constructed, again, my own wooden models of the tab locks to work with as I went through the book. After that, I kind of moved into looking at the Yi Ching stuff and the block working material that you mentioned just a while ago. The block working material is basically 64 little blocks that all represent the 64 hexagrams. They're stacked into a cube. You can see pictures of them on the website. There's two different versions. There's the Roman version that I first did just to work on that. I've had to build the tools. I had to build these block working sets, and that took me about 9.5 months of solid work for 2 to 3 hours a day.
Wow.
A considerable amount of work.
Just to make the 64 blocks?
Right.
Wow.
Every face of 64 blocks, so that's 384 faces, and they're all fairly detailed.
You were painting on each face? Or
That's correct.
Wow, yeah.
That's correct. I was doing them according to Russell's instructions, because that's part of what he's trying to do. Is he's not just saying, here are the tools, use them. He's saying, make the tools and you will understand the concepts better. He wants you to directly experience the material through really working with it in every aspect.
So also while you're constructing it, I guess you're also meditating on the various symbols and the Yi and the meaning behind it. And by you're getting that whole body integration. It's not just this mental thing. You're painting. It's very tactile. You have to concentrate, so you've got that focus and kind of it's all encompassing.
I see it as really as kind of a yoga work, because not only was I doing the physical work with my hands, but my mind was fully engaged with the material as well by doing the astral work with the Yi at the same time. And like you said, I'm just working with it in every aspect, which is exactly what Russell wanted his students to encounter with the work.
Okay.
I was also working on developing the logical square of the hexagrams for the website around then too.
So not only were you doing this physically in the wood, you were also doing a lot of this kind of work in the website too. That's
correct, and I was doing astral work with the Yi at the same time.
So once you've completed your blocks, where did you go from there?
Well, I went back to finish up the tropermic calculus stuff that I had started on the website, and basically got to a point with the tropic algorithm where I understood it well enough, and I felt like, well, okay, I can explain this on the website. So I went through that and picked up one of his other books called Combinational Arithmetic, which is some early combinatorial math, which is used in other places throughout his teaching, and kind of went through that really quickly just to fill in a gap in my knowledge. His work is so multifold. There's so many different aspects to it that the way all of these different aspects link together is really important. He's very lucid in the way that he links each thing to the next thing. It's very careful. It's very methodical. And I was very aware the entire time I was working with the Russell material to pay attention to that, because I thought, well, if there's any point where he's not following through on something that he's indicating, I'm going to be able to spot it. And frankly, I never did find anything to that effect. I was able to see just how consistent it was and how lucid and logical it all was. It was very progressive. So from there, I started looking at some of the early Karanzan Club material and how it relates to Russell's AA and OTO work, and started looking at his history and the things that we've already talked about at the beginning of of the show here. And I also added some sampling of some hand-painted pictures called Tai Shu as examples of some of his artistic work. Because, not only was he doing all of this logical work, like I said, he was also encouraging his students to not only to think, but to feel and will. These are the three aspects of the cube. The thinking, the feeling, and the willing were the three major principles that he was trying to get his students attuned to and to excel in.
Right, and he actually kind of represented those as three axes in a three-dimensional space.
They're the three axes of the cube. The thinking is the vertical axes, the up and down axes. Feeling is the forward and backward axes of the cube, and willing is the left to right axes of the cube, or the right to left, whichever. So after I did some more work with just looking at the historical stuff and some of his early work, started looking at Russell's other variants of the hexagrams, and went back to doing some more Yi Ching work like I had done previously, and built another block set. And this block set took me approximately about 3 months of solid work, or about 2 to 3 hours a day again. So, but just between building the blocks for these two exercises, that's about a year's worth of just solid work, just physical work, and, astral work, yoga work, meditation, all that put together.
That's very impressive.
Well, it's something I really was attracted to, and I was drawn to it, and I related to it on such a basic level that it seemed like the right way to approach the material. It seemed like a very instinctively correct way to approach the Yi as he has it drawn up. So I continued doing a little bit more Yi Ching work and divinatory work, and started practicing the Chinese brushwork material by writing the Yi lines using his variant of Chinese he calls Ming, and practiced that for a while and got somewhat familiar with it. And in the meantime, I started to look at some of his other instructions that he did, and really, like I said, I began to appreciate the scope of his life's great work and how everything he produced was so lucidly related to all the other elements in his instructions.
Well, you're also an artist yourself, right?
That's right.
I've seen some of your artwork. It's very nice. You do airbrush and some other painting techniques. Have you incorporated some of this work in your own artwork?
Sure. Yeah, I actually did some figurative pieces earlier this year, or actually the beginning of last year, that are sort of loosely inspired on some of the concepts that I sort of absorbed through Russell's material. So I really felt like kind of giving that an artistic expression in my own work, and it was very inspiring. And I want to do some more of that and share it with other people for not only my own enjoyment, but for theirs. While I haven't built some of those handmade computers that we talked about, I would really like to build one of those too. That's something I really want to try. I have to mention that, I've been talking about the website too.
Right.
A lot of the website work that I've done over the past 10 years with the Russell material is done in parallel in cooperation with our friend Keith 418. He's been very, very supportive of what I've done. He's offered some great critique and constructive advice, and not only that, he has really good background knowledge of Russell's magical work, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I also have the support of my friends at fastblogit.com for hosting some of the Russell material and helping the website that I have continue to evolve. They've been very supportive of me as well, and I want to thank them. And also, I really want to thank Ben Fernie at Caduceus Books for offering the published Russell work in his catalog for sale now.
Right. Let's spend a few moments on that.
Okay.
You have worked with the Russell estate to get many of the works that Russell had published available for sale, and Ben at Caduceus is handling the sales of those books,
right,
correct?
He is. He's been very helpful with advice on the market, and just general book selling skills that probably most of us aren't that adept at as much as he is, and offered to sell the Russell published material in his catalogs now. And as a result of that, what we did was we wrote up, my friends at fastblogger.com wrote up chapter descriptions for each of those books, and there's links that you can go to from the contents page on the Russell site to look at kind of what each of those books is about. But Ben has been very, very helpful with all of this, and I hope that people will look at the Russell material and really check it out.
All the books that we've been mentioning, Book Chameleon, Barbara Cube,
right?
What is it?
Hermit Calculus.
How do you pronounce that? Znuz's
Knees, which is his. Those are his memoirs, basically.
Right.
That's where he really tells it all like it is. You know, he tells his side of the story of everything that happened between he and Crowley, between everything that went on from the beginning of his life to probably about the late 1970s. You know, he let the chips fall where they may. He told the truth and gives his side of the story. So I think the Znuz's Knees are very interesting from a historical point of view, as well as getting another perspective on Russell as a student of Crowley and his relationship with Crowley and with Thelema and with his own work. You know, it gives you a good overview of the body of his work, all of the stuff that he did with his students. It gives you a pretty good exposure to all of that.
Now, you've been a practicing magician and Thelemite for almost 2 decades now. How has the Russell work been incorporated, or how has it enhanced your work in a totalizing effect? It's the way you talk about it. It's not kind of this thing that you do on the weekends or this kind of segmented thing. So how has it really manifested in your life in the last decade?
I was really interested in the logic material, and I felt like that was something that was a really good preliminary for every magician to kind of look at as a foundational type of material. Like I said earlier, it really gives you a good grounding in critical thinking, and it balances your work. So throughout the time that I was really getting into the Russell material, I sort of saw Russell's work as a natural extension of the Thelemic magic that Crowley wanted his students to produce.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, this is sort of Russell taking the Crowley material and continuing on in his own vein. And Russell's work encompasses, the entire length of his life. He never stopped producing and publishing material. The entire process was going on until the end of his life in 1987. So I consider him a real devoted Thelemic magic as well as a teacher. From an artistic standpoint, I really appreciated the beauty of his methods and how that reflected in the outer aesthetics of the cube work and the paintings and the other artistic work. If you look at the pictures on the website, you'll see what I'm talking about. As an engineering student, I sort of appreciated the careful and systematic way that he makes each part of the instructions link to the next with complete continuity and lucidity. There was no gap. And I guess lastly, as a Thelemite, I really enjoyed the way Russell was developing his own magical system and how much disciplined yoga work was involved in applying his teachings. So when you look at Russell's life from not just the external events, all the history that we've talked about and the things that are going on in his life, during his lifetime, but you also look at how closely he realized his inner purpose, the inner life that he was carrying on, and look at that in the context of the great work, it's evident that Russell didn't really diverge much from his real purpose. I think that's a great credit to Crowley. I think Crowley really ingrained the Thelemic values into Russell. So he continued to modify and improve and expand his knowledge throughout his entire lifetime. And as a result of that, and as part of the process, he became a great teacher to learn from. So really, I still fondly regard Russell as one of Crowley's most productive magical pupils. And I think it's really worth looking at his material in that light.
What would you be recommending as the first books that someone should get?
I think the first book that people should really look at is not only Book Chameleon, and his memoirs, if they're interested in that particular aspect, but also the Barbara Cubed, because that's the logic work. That's where the whole thing starts. That's the basis of the work.
So again, Barbara Cubed, Znuz's Knees.
Znuz's Knees, yeah.
And then
that's
Book
the
Chameleon.
memoirs. It's called Znuz's Knees, The Memoirs of a Magician.
Okay. And Ben has all of those in stock.
He does. I believe he has all of those in his catalog for sale. And in addition, if you look at the contents page of the website, there are some links to some descriptions of those. If you're wanting to check out a little bit about them, you can either look at Ben's catalog or those links.
Well, fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show. I don't think enough people are familiar with what C.F. Russell was doing and the work that he